Hello everyone, and welcome to River Fishing Academy, where we don't chase fish, we learn to think like predators. Have you ever stood on the bank of a river, wondering where to make your first cast? If the answer is yes, then this channel is for you. Most anglers believe that catching more fish is all about choosing the right lure. But the truth is, the biggest mistake happens long before the lure ever touches the water. They fish the wrong water. Predatory fish don't choose their location by accident. Every single day, they look for places that give them three important advantages: food, cover, and the ability to spend as little energy as possible. Once you understand why fish choose these places, you'll never look at a river the same way again. That's exactly why River Fishing Academy was created. This channel is dedicated to helping anglers understand rivers, not just fish them. Here, you'll learn how current shapes underwater structure, why predators hold in specific locations, how to recognize high-percentage fishing spots, and how to make every cast count. Whether you're targeting northern pike, smallmouth bass, walleye, trout, or almost any other river predator, the principles you'll learn here remain the same. In today's lesson, you won't just learn where fish hide, you'll learn why they choose those places. And once you understand that, you'll be able to read almost any river with confidence. Let's begin. Imagine arriving at a river you've never seen before. Most beginners see only water, trees, and the shoreline. To them, every part of the river looks almost the same. But an experienced river angler sees a completely different picture. Before making a single cast, he begins reading the river. A steep bank tells him the water is probably deep. A gently sloping sandy shore often means shallow water. A sharp bend may hide a deep hole. Changes in the current reveal what's happening beneath the surface. Without a map, without electronics, and without making a single cast, he already knows where to begin. Because successful river fishing doesn't start with a lure. It starts with understanding the river. And that's exactly what you're about to learn. So where do you begin? When you arrive at a river you've never fished before, don't try to find the fish first. Instead, start by reading the river. Look at the shape of the banks. Watch how the current moves. Notice where the river changes direction. Pay attention to fallen trees, shallow areas, and places where the water suddenly slows down. Each of these features is a clue, and together they reveal what's happening beneath the surface. The good news is that you don't have to learn everything at once. Just start with the most obvious features. As you recognize them one by one, the river becomes easier to understand. So let's begin with one of the most important and easiest features to recognize on almost any river: the river bend. One of the first places every experienced angler looks for is a river bend. A river bend is one of the most promising features you'll find on almost any river. Why? Because a bend often combines several important elements in one location. The current erodes the outside bank, creating deeper water. Right next to it, you'll often find a slower reverse current. Many anglers ignore this quiet water, but it's one of the most important parts of the entire bend. The reverse current acts like a natural conveyor. It collects insects, drifting plants, small creatures, and other food carried downstream. Instead of letting all that food continue down the river, the current keeps it circulating in the same area. Where food gathers, baitfish soon follow. And where baitfish gather, predators are never far away. That's why a well-formed river bend can hold fish throughout the entire season. Another important feature you'll often find on a river bend is a shallow shoreline edge covered with aquatic vegetation. This happens because the strongest current usually flows along the outside of the bend. Closer to the inside bank, the water becomes much calmer. With less current, aquatic plants have a chance to grow. At first glance, it may look like nothing more than weeds. But underwater, it's a completely different world. Aquatic vegetation provides shelter for insects, crayfish, and countless small creatures. Baitfish move in to feed and hide among the plants. And wherever baitfish feel safe, predators know exactly where to find them. For species like northern pike, these weed edges become perfect ambush points. The vegetation hides the predator, while the nearby drop-off allows it to move quickly between shallow and deeper water. That's why these shoreline weed edges often remain productive until late autumn, when dying vegetation can no longer provide enough cover.
There's one more feature you should always look for on a river bend: the drop-off. This underwater slope connects the shallow shoreline with the deeper hole. For a predatory fish, it's much more than a change in depth. It's a natural travel route. From here, a predator can move into shallow water to hunt and slip back into deep water in just a few seconds. It allows fish to move between feeding areas and safe cover with almost no effort. That's why predators rarely stay in one place all day. Instead, they patrol these underwater edges, waiting for the perfect opportunity to ambush their prey. When you find a river bend with a deep hole, a reverse current, a productive weed edge, and a well-defined drop-off connecting them, you've found a place that deserves your full attention. At this point, you're no longer just looking at the river, you're beginning to read it.
Now that you've learned how to read a river bend, let's talk about how to fish it. Start with the deepest part of the hole. This is where fish often rest, especially during the day. Soft plastic lures on a jig head are an excellent choice here. Sinking jerkbaits and other sinking hardbaits can also be very effective when worked close to the bottom. Next, fish the drop-off leading out of the hole. This underwater edge is a natural travel route for predators moving between deep and shallow water. Medium diving suspending jerkbaits and spoons are great choices for covering this zone. Finally, don't overlook the shallow shoreline and weed edge. These areas often produce explosive strikes from fish hunting in the shallows. Surface lures such as poppers, walk the dog baits, and floating minnows work especially well here. Remember, don't rush through a river bend. Fish every key feature one by one, because every cast should have a purpose.
Today, we explored just one feature of a river, a single river bend. At first glance, it may look like just another turn in the river, but now you know there's much more hidden beneath the surface. A deep hole, a reverse current, a weed edge, a drop-off connecting them all. Each of these features can hold fish for its own reason. The key is learning how to recognize them. Because once you understand how a river works, you'll stop fishing at random and start making every cast with confidence. Remember, don't chase the fish. Learn to think like a predator. Thanks for watching River Fishing Academy. We'll see you in the next lesson.